Assalamu alaikum all. Today I am going to be talking about 2024 Dave Ramsey money tips for Muslims. Now he did a really great video with his daughter Rachel Cruz on her channel, and I really love this video. I've got a link to that in the description, and I really like Dave Ramsey. He's like a personal finance money guy with these sort of Christian values, but definitely applicable to Muslims. And I think New Year is always a great time to kind of go over your finances and kind of get that reset. And yeah, he talks about 8 tips that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and I think they're very useful for Muslims. Just want to say welcome to Simple Muslim Money, which is all about simple halal investing and personal finance for Muslims. So number 1 is get on the same page with your spouse. Now the data is very clear. People that do really well with their money are in alignment with their husband or wife. And you know, it might take a bit of time to get there. Me and my wife, we've kind of like throughout the years, I think it took us a while to kind of like figure out what worked for us. And then I think now we're in a good stage in terms of our money, alhamdulillah. And yeah, there's so much power in putting your finances together, especially like if you want to buy a property, if you want to do investing and things like that, you know, if you have kids and stuff like that. And it's definitely really important. And the data is just clear. We have to work with our husband or wife and get on that same page and put our money to work and get that money just compounding and working together. Number 2 is get on a budget. This sounds so simple and so cliche, but it is so true. I never took this seriously back in the day. And then I tried to get really fancy with loads of apps and stuff like that. But yeah, what I recommend is just going straight in with a Google Sheet. And I'm hoping like probably in one of my next few videos, I'm going to actually go over my actual budget, how much I spend and things like that, and how I go about managing my money. And a really good thing that Dave Ramsey said was people don't get rich accidentally. Their money doesn't, you know, get invested and saved accidentally. It does sort of follow a plan. And he had this good quote where from someone that said, yeah, a budget tells people where their money is going rather than wondering where it went, which happens to me all the time. Even now when I have a budget, sometimes I think, where the heck did all my money go? And I remember Cristiano Ronaldo, like, you know, big footballer for Real Madrid, Man U, and he's in Saudi at the moment. And although I'm a Liverpool fan and he won the rival clubs, he was a fantastic player, I have to admit that. He was talking about, you know, he didn't become one of the best players of all time by accident. There was a lot of planning, a lot of work, you know, that happened into that. It's not by accident at all. And yeah, and also once you have a budget, it does feel good, you know, and I kind of have a better idea what's going on with my money, and I like comparing it to the previous months as well. And yeah, it kind of gets a while to get, you know, into that budget muscle. I call it a muscle. You keep working your budget, the better and easier it gets. It's not something where you just do once and it's just kind of perfect. And yeah, it's a great way to talk to your wife or husband about it as well. You kind of go over the budget, you could talk about stuff, and it's amazing. You think, okay, maybe if I put a bit of money in there, how much it can help. And another good tip from Dave Ramsey is that the more money you make, the more you need the budget, the more you need to organize that money, because it's just so easy for it to just kind of just slip through your fingers. And also another thing I would say is don't use a credit card. It just really messes up your budget. It just kind of like, you don't know where your money's going. It kind of goes to the credit card and you have a bill and they take the money out later. It just proper confuses you. So yeah, definitely don't do that. Number 3, he talks about is pay off student loans. And I know in the US, the loans are crazy. So Dave Ramsey is kind of based in the US, but you know, people have like 100k loans and things like that to go to university or college, as I say. And I know in the UK, they're quite big as well. I mean, it's very common for people to have like £50,000 like student debt and things like that. And yeah, I'm fortunate. I'm in my 40s. I didn't have to pay for my uni, but however, I did end up taking like a small loan, a student loan. I didn't even know why. I was young and just kind of just used it for going out and things like that and going on holiday. But you know, I managed to kind of pay that off. And yeah, one thing I would say is for anything generally, like, you know, a lot of people are kind of worried about loans and debts and things like that. And I know for me as well, you know, I've had some debt and stuff like that. And then when I've just faced it, like I've actually faced that fear, it's just been so much better. It stops kind of just like, you know, rattling around in my brain, just faced it, kind of be aware of what it is and start to take a plan just to pay it off, even just a little bit. Number 4 is protect the emergency fund. And that is really important. It just gives you that peace of mind. And I know, like, you know, if you've got loads of debt and things like that, just like, to be able to sleep at night, oh my gosh, we take that as such a blessing. And you know, it is, take it for so granted. And like, you know, having debt and money problems can just keep you up at night as well. Like and for us, I remember we had a issue with like our boiler, an issue with our roof, and like, our roof took like £4,000 to fix. Our boiler, that was about £2,500. Then we had problems with our car and we had to get like a new car. And just having those savings and that money, oh my gosh, was a blessing. Seriously, we were so blessed to have that money, and that, you know, me and my wife were on the same page in terms of saving and stuff. And, you know, there was a time when I lost my job as well, and just having savings just helped so much. Another thing is by having an emergency fund, you know, giving that reassurance. It's something that, you know, we've kind of dipped into at the moment, so we're trying to build it up at the moment. I've also got son with special needs as well, so I'm constantly, you know, thinking about what we can do to save money for him. So we're paying for some therapy at the moment, so we want to have some savings in place. If something did happen to one of our jobs, then we could cover that therapy while we're like looking for a new job as well. So yeah, it's just like really important, just helps massively as well. Number 5 is get a side hustle. So like this is just comes down to, I've heard Ramit Sethi talk about this as well. Like, you know, there's a limit to how much you can save, but there's no limit to how much money you can make from your income. And another thing is, like, you know, I don't want to do something that I really hate. Like, you know, I don't want to be doing another crazy job or another crazy finance job that's working all hours, all night, something like that. But we can do like side hustles and things like that, and, you know, do something that we can potentially enjoy as well, that will kind of really keep us motivated. But there's people that do things like tutoring, babysitting, like Uber and things like that. And especially if you really need that money, you know, those are quick ways to get money. But what I love is like the ability to make money online, making money digitally. And this is something that I've done a bit of in the past. And, you know, you can make money from e-commerce shops and stuff like that. But what I really like is this whole idea of content creation. There's so much potential in it, but it does take time. Like I need to spend, I mean, with this channel as well, it's probably been going for over a year now, but, you know, it's taking time. I just want to build it up as well. I really kind of enjoy doing it, although sometimes, you know, it can be hard work and, like, you know, I don't feel like it and things like that. But, you know, I love creating the content and things like that. So I'm really kind of knuckling down and sitting on that, and I'm thinking about 2 to 3 years. So definitely, yeah, I tell other people as well, like, you know, I was very short-minded. I wanted the near-term cash, you know, what can I do? But having this content creation thing, it's more sustainable. And like, if you enjoy creating content, I know a lot of people are on social media, try to, you know, change your mindset a bit. Maybe I could create content and sell it and see where it takes me. And number 6 is you don't always have to buy that thing. There's always new things coming out, trainers, clothes and things like that. You know, I used to buy new trainers all the time, or sneakers as you call them in the US. I used to upgrade my iPhone every year. And, you know, a good tip is just to wait 24 hours and see if you really want that thing. There was this Ferro Body massage gun I was thinking about getting. It was about 300, 400 pounds. And then, you know, I just kind of waited a day, and then I was like, I'm not too sure. And then I just kind of waited, and it just kind of faded away. So yeah, definitely worth doing that. Another sneaky one is when you're out and about, and this happened to me a lot. Like, you know, you go past these street food places or shops, and you're like, oh, buy a donut. They've got these donuts, like, I know in Bread Ahead, the donuts are like £3-4, sometimes even £5. And you're like, wow, it's just, you have the donut, and then before you know it, that money's gone. And sometimes you don't even really want the donut, or the donut isn't even that nice. Or bubble tea is another one. People are always spending £5, £6, £7, £8 on bubble tea. It's like crazy. Now bubble teas are like this big as well. So, you know, if you really want it, fine, and you know you've got the money and it's something you kind of budget for, that's fine. But just money can just go just so quickly like that. Number 7 is be aware of lifestyle creep. So this is like live below your means basically, and it's so like obvious, but yeah, something that people are just not aware of. Like even me as well. Sometimes things just happened, and now I'm trying to like kind of stay on top of it. And here we're talking about these couples that are earning $175,000 a year. So, you know, it's the couples, and they're just staying afloat because they've got so many payments, like their house payments, the maintenance on the house, car payments. Like, I don't know, they might be paying for private school or this, that, and the other, and they're just about, you know, keeping afloat. So, you know, if one thing happens, that's it, everything will just collapse. So yeah, it's really important to kind of be aware of where money's going, having that emergency fund, living below the means as well. And number 8 is buying a house when you're ready. I know as Muslims, mortgages are always a hot topic, and house finance and buying things like that. You know, we want to avoid paying riba and like getting into like things that involve interest. And so yeah, this is definitely something, you know, for a future video. And there's so much, like, you know, opinions and things like that out there, and something we definitely need to kind of talk more of and see what other options and things like that are out there. So I'm not going to kind of get into it as much this video, but definitely want to say, like, you know, it's very tempting, very easy to get finance and buy a bigger house than you actually need, and then you find out, oh my gosh, the mortgage payment's too high, or whatever payments you have, or then you've got the maintenance. Like I had the issue with my roof, and then the boiler, and then, you know, there's other DIY bits and pieces. Like I had the radiator leak. There's things like that happen, which won't happen if you were to be renting. But however, renting is very expensive in in London especially, I know. So it's sometimes it's actually cheaper to get like a mortgage and stuff. So yeah, this is a really sticky one. And you know, I know married couples that are living in shared houses. So you know, they're married, they're renting out a room, but then there's other people living in the same house, so they don't have like, you know, they have shared kitchens and things like that. So it's a really, really tough situation, and something, yeah, definitely need to kind of talk about. And me and my wife, when we were looking to get our property, like, you know, we wanted to make sure it wasn't too much and too crazy, and from a finance point of view, we're spending like too much, you wanted to keep it manageable, and alhamdulillah, very lucky, you know, we were able to do that. But yeah, just want to say thanks for watching. Definitely recommend you check out Dave Ramsey stuff. He's got fantastic stuff out there. And yeah, when people say, you know, what sort of personal finance tips and things I have, I always say, you know, just watch Dave Ramsey, watch the phone calls, people calling in, people issues with debt and stuff like that. It just kind of really gets you going and gets you thinking about money and how you can sort of manage your thing, and just kind of changes your mindset just by watching it. So yeah, so just want to say that's all for now. Assalamu alaikum. Bye.